Welcome to The Passion for Christ, as pastors and ministry leaders in Southern California share their testimony and vision for their church and the community. If you would like to have your church or ministry featured on this show, please call K-Praise at 858-535-1210 and join us each week. Now here's our host, Stacy.
Welcome. I hope you all are having a great weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have a very informative interview today. Our longtime partners, CAPS Pregnancy Care Clinic, we have partnered with them for years. You could look it up, CAPS Pregnancy Medical Clinic in San Diego. They have tons of resources. They've been partnering with K-Praise for years, and they're having a gala coming up, their 26th annual fundraising dinner. And I want you to check it out. Go to their website, go to capsgala.com, capsgala.com. And I am thrilled to have the guest speaker for the CAPS Gala. Welcome, Erin. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Delighted to be here.
Erin, you work for the Alliance Defending Freedom. Share with us your role there.
Sure. So I am on the life team at Alliance Defending Freedom, and Alliance Defending Freedom is, I think, the world's largest attorney law firm that promotes religious liberty. And ADF has a number of pillars that it supports and sort of its key mission. But one, the one that's most dear and dear to my heart, is celebrating and supporting life like the CAPS Pregnancy Center does so well.
That is so wonderful. And thank you so much for being their speaker at their 26th annual fundraising dinner. What will you be discussing there?
Sure. So really just talking about the miracle of life. You and I know this so well, but for folks who haven't really stopped to think about it, the fact and reality is that each and every one of us was formed, as Psalm 139 tells us, in our mother's womb. And that means each and every child was predestined by God to have certain characteristics, to look a certain way, to laugh a certain way, and that each and every child is inherently valuable to God, no matter how small, no matter how defenseless. And just to talk about and celebrate the fact that every child is valuable to God, that each of them is deserving of life and protection, and to really applaud CAPS Pregnancy Center for recognizing that timeless truth and really putting their beliefs into action, being willing to help women and families who are facing an unexpected and often a daunting circumstance of being pregnant unexpectedly.
Oh, thank you so much for defending those who cannot defend themselves. And I'm going to read that verse you quoted, Psalms 139, 13 and 14. For you formed my utmost being. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for you are fearfully and wonderfully made. God knew us before we were even formed. Isn't that so amazing? And there's such a Holocaust going on. And I just thank you for what you're doing. And people are really calling a baby a lump of cells. What do you have to say about that?
Oh my goodness. Pick up a biology textbook, any one of them. I don't think biology textbook authors are by and large Christians. I'm sure some of them are, but certainly not all of them. And yet every single biology textbook would confirm that a baby at conception is alive. There's no other definition of it. And they are also human. And it just baffles me. I actually did a debate a couple of years ago at Oxford Student Union, and one of the women on the other side really poo-pooed this idea that, babies at 6 weeks have a heartbeat. And she made the comparison to a potato and said that a potato, if you hook it up the right way, will have an electrical impulse. But of course, a potato does not grow up to be a child who moves and laughs and has the capacity to love and to do good. And so I think those analogies are just absolutely contrary to science. There's no question, again, if you look at any biological textbook, that babies, no matter how young, no matter how defenseless, are alive. They are human, no matter, again, how small.
Absolutely. I am interviewing Erin from Alliance Defending Freedom. She will be our guest at the CAPS 26th annual fundraising gala that is coming up. And you could be a sponsor. You can purchase individual tickets. You can purchase a table. Go to capsgala.com for more information. There is VIP reception, so that means they will get to talk to you.
Absolutely. Would love to see you and have a chance to meet you.
Yeah, and we could fill tables. Let's make a big impact together. You know what? I hear girls saying, my body, my choice. What are your thoughts about that?
So I think that description has really been co-opted by big abortion and the abortion industry. They tell women that this is a decision, that they can just take the abortion drug or have a surgical abortion and life will just go on as it has before, that they can just, do this and forget about it. But the reality is much, much different. Our own bodies change as we are pregnant. And I've heard countless stories from women who have suffered years-long regrets from having an abortion. Many, if not most women who have had abortions have told surveyors that they wish they wouldn't have. They thought it was their only option. And so this idea that it's something that is good for women, I think is a lie, honestly, straight from the pit of hell. This idea that taking a life that is growing within you is good is again a lie. And it distorts the most precious relationship that can be possible on earth, and that's between a mother and her child.
Exactly. How can people learn more about you?
Sure. So you can find me, my profile at ADF, easy to find, that tells a little bit about me, also about the important work that the ADF does defending pregnancy centers like CAPS.
Yeah. So if you're just tuning in, CAPS is having their 26th annual fundraising gala, CAPS Pregnancy Medical Clinic here in San Diego. If you would like to get more involved and find more about it, go to capsgala.com. It is on Saturday, April 25th, and this is a great way to give back to those who stand up for life. And I think it's very important. I think this is the largest Holocaust in our world, where people are saying that babies are just a lump of cells, which is not true. It's a baby growing, created in the image of God. And let's go together and go to this event, the gala, celebrating 26 years of transforming lives. Now, people can meet you at the event as well. Is it like a meet and greet?
I think that's right. I'm going to be there all evening. So would love to meet you, hear your story, and get to talk about the great work that pregnancy centers are doing.
It is just so amazing when you hear stories of young girls maybe taking the day after pill or even choosing abortion, and then they change their mind because of efforts of pregnancy care clinics like CAPS. Do you have a story to share?
Oh, sure. So some of my favorite clients, there's a nurse practitioner whose name is Chelsea. She's out in Colorado. And Colorado is a crazy state, probably like California. And they have laws that allow you to get unrestricted abortions, but they prohibit medical professionals like Chelsea from telling women that there's a chance that if they take progesterone, a naturally occurring hormone, quickly after taking that first abortion drug, then there's a chance that their baby can make it. And Chelsea is a pro-life Christian who has a free medical center where she provides care to women in need, like CAPS. And so she got a call one day from a young woman named McKenna. And McKenna had taken the abortion drug, And as she tells the story, she knew the moment that she took the drug that she had made a terrible, terrible mistake. So she frantically looked online, found a website called Abortion Pill Reversal, called the number, and was put in touch with Chelsea. She took progesterone. Her baby, Michaela, is alive and well today, a complete joy. And one of the privileges has been to see the relationship between Chelsea and McKenna. Like pregnancy care volunteers around the country, Chelsea loves and cares for McKenna. She's become one of the most important people in her life and is helping her daughter and McKenna flourish on a day-to-day basis. It's a beautiful relationship, a beautiful story of redemption. And again, the idea that California, to talk about where CAPS is operating, California has actually sued pregnancy care centers for talking about abortion pill reversal, despite the fact that there are countless stories like McKenna's saving lives, giving women a second chance. Again, the California says it's all about women's choice, except when that choice is to do anything they can to reverse the decision to have an abortion. In that instance, they say women should have no choice. That makes no sense. And that's why I'm so grateful for centers like CAPS.
Yeah, exactly. I think that Planned Parenthood actually uses the word healthcare as a resource to abort babies. I mean, I could totally be wrong here, but I know they're just adding other healthcare resources. But is their main efforts is terminating pregnancies? I don't know.
It is absolutely. And I would point your listeners to a strange source for this. The New York Times, of all places, has an in-depth expose of Planned Parenthood. And it talks about how despite the billions of dollars they get from the federal government, despite all of their fundraising efforts, the amount of money they put into actual medical care is abysmal. It talks about clinics being in horrible shape. Even in one clinic, I think there was a sewage backup that they were treating patients in the room. They have a terrible track record for safety. And again, all of this is from the New York Times, a source that is no typical friend to pro-lifers, but to their credit, honestly pointed out the problems with big abortion and this conveyor-like mentality to have as many abortions as possible, not taking into consideration what women might actually want.
Wow, it just breaks my heart to hear this. And you know what? We need to rise up and make a stand and support organizations like CAPS Pregnancy Care Clinic. They are making a difference. And you know what? As soon as these mothers see the ultrasound, everything changes. They see the little hands and feet and face and nose. And I think these ultrasounds are a huge impact on young mothers.
Absolutely. And I think the thing about pregnancy care centers to really emphasize is they're there when no one else is. When a woman is facing a situation she didn't expect to be facing, pregnancy care centers tell them that they're not alone, that they're there to support them today and tomorrow, not only through childbirth, but beyond, and to come alongside them, to love them as Chelsea loves McKenna. And I think just to provide them with resources, with information, with things, again, that should facilitate a woman's choice to use that term that's so often co-opted by the left.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I am excited about the CAPS Gala. Go to capsgala.com and we're having a wonderful guest speaker there, CAPS is. It's their 26th anniversary. They're going to have a VIP reception with Erin Hawley, which you sound amazing. I thank you for everything that you do. Erin, you work for Alliance Defending Freedom. You are a counselor there, defending life. Thank you so much. Now, you have a book out. Share a little bit about that.
Oh, sure. So this was sort of my fun project. I'm an attorney, as you mentioned, but my husband and I have three delightful children. And when the first two were young, actually, is when I started drafting the book. But for me, I don't know about for all of you, but for me, the experience of being a first time mom, I'd always been, a driven type A professional. I don't think I'd even babysat ever in my life. Yeah, I loved kids, but sort of from a distance, which is kind of ironic given the work I have the privilege of doing now. But I had these two children. I took a big step back from my job to be able to be home with them, and was really just a sort of a nervous wreck trying to keep these two boys alive. And it really brought me to my knees. And through that sort of process, the Lord opened my eyes to seeing children and childhood through his eyes in ways I never could have experienced his love without being a mom. To take just a few examples, you think about just sort of the effervescent joy that children inherently have. I think that's what Jesus longs to see in us, to have that deep-rooted, boundless joy over the small gifts that he gives us, and that children just inherently possess, and too often we lose, or this desire just for relationship with their mom to be with you. And, you can't even go to the bathroom in peace if you're a young toddler mom. And yet that desire to be with you is something that we can emulate from our own children, and desire to be with Jesus, to be in his presence, and for that to be really what matters. So through this sort of transition season to being a mom, God showed me how much I needed to become more like my children, and what a gift it is to become a child, to be a child of the living God.
We see life through such different lenses when we have children, and the little things matter, like their first goo. When they count to 5, or the words that are just so funny and they say it different. Like, for instance, my daughter loved pizza as a 2-year-old, and she would say, and she has a grandma, she would call her grandma Firma Itza.
Yes.
And they're just the things we never forget. And the joy that God has given parents with their children. I just really appreciate everything you're doing. I'm excited for you to come to San Diego and speak at the CAPS Gala, and go to capsgala.com. This is their gala, and there is a reception with Erin at 4:30. And then they have the dinner and Erin as the keynote speaker at 6:00. This will be held at the DoubleTree in Mission Valley. Get your tickets, support an amazing organization that is making a difference. This is how you can be a part of impacting a great cause. Become a sponsor, purchase individual tickets, sponsor a table, and there is lots of information. You can go to caps.org to find out more information, but go to capsgala.com to get your tickets, and they have contact information there as well. Now, Erin, what else do you have to share for our audience?
Oh, goodness. I think just as we've been talking about the subject, about the value of life and about children, it reminds me of an interview with Bill Maher, and he was debating abortion with actually someone who was very moderately pro-choice, like thought abortion was okay in some circumstances, but was taking sort of the pro-life position in debating Bill Maher. But he made this comment that just has stuck with me, and he said, life just isn't all that precious. And that struck me to my core. But I think that's what we get when we think abortion is the answer, when big abortion gets to push this on women. And the reality is that life is ever so precious, that every child is planned by God, is loved by God, is made in the very image of God, as you said, and is deserving of life. And so hope to see you all at CAPS next week.
Yes. CAPS 26 annual fundraiser dinner. Go to capsgala.com. And let's say you're tuning in and you're like, I really want to be a part of this, but I'm out of town. Guess what? You can go to this website and make a donation. CAPS would really appreciate this. One more thing, Erin, how can they get your book?
Oh, sure. So it's available on Amazon. I'll also have some with me if you're able to come to the gala.
Absolutely. So thank you so much. Go to capsgala.com and hope you join us again next week.
Thank you for tuning in to The Passion for Christ. Join us again next week as pastors and ministry leaders share their testimony and vision, providing biblical values for living a healthy Christian life. If you would like to have your church or ministry featured on this show, please call K-Praise at 858-535-1210. We at K-Praise love our community, and if you need prayer, please reach out to us, 858-535-1210.